Welcome back to the Baseball Blue Book podcast. My name is Eric Webenaw, the president of the Baseball Blue Book, and today we have Jacob Tobin on with us. Jacob is actually just signed with a new community college in the Borough of Manhattan. So looking forward to talking to Jacob about that. But there's so many other things that Jacob is part of. We were just kind of getting caught up on a lot of things that he's been doing. But welcome, Jacob, to the program.
Eric, thank you so much. This is an honor to be on here to, talk to you and sort of tell you what I got going on. And, quick disclaimer, I'm not one of these big time great baseball coaches that you've had on here, but I think I have something I might be able to offer.
You know what? I think that's what makes baseball coaches so great. I don't know if I've had a single coach on that thought they were much of anything. They've always put their program and their players first, and so I think that you've got the right mindset no matter what program that you're heading up. So, Jacob, let's go ahead and first start with the kind of the beginning of your journey. A lot of coaches like to talk about, kind of take me all the way back to the beginning. When did you know baseball was it and it was the sport for you?
Yeah, no. Growing up, I played a lot of hockey and I played a lot of baseball, and I didn't know which one was was going to be my bread and butter. And it turns out, I guess, playing baseball or hockey was neither of them were my bread and butter. But I did choose baseball. I liked, I was a pitcher. I liked, getting guys out, striking guys out. It happened a couple times. That's how my journey started. I needed baseball in my life, and when I realized I wasn't going to be a major leaguer, I figured I'd become a coach or do something in baseball and continue to work in baseball as long as I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I chose coaching, being able to give back, and my ADD is too bad. I can't sit still. I need to be able to move around and talk and work with young people. So sports and coaching was really the only thing I could pick, and baseball was it.
That's awesome. And before we continue, I want to make sure to encourage everybody to please subscribe to the channel, share this with the others that would enjoy this. It helps us get this out. We're getting a ton of feedback. People loving hearing the journeys of these coaches. These guys they're raising our young men of tomorrow, and it's important for you to take a listen and hear what they're all about. And so, again, Coach Tobin, I appreciate you jumping on with me. But let's go ahead. You said you grew up in Manhattan, and actually the Bronx or the Brooklyn, right? You grew up in Brooklyn. Talk about the game of baseball in the city compared to what you probably have experienced kind of outside the city, because there's quite the dynamics and the changes and so it's always fun to hear stories about growing up truly in the city and what baseball was like.
No, of course. The problem with the city and sports is there's not that much space. There's room for a basketball court, but if you want to say baseball field or any type of stadium or football or soccer, there's not that much space in the city. So that's always a constraint. When I was at St. Joe's Brooklyn, we had a really nice facility in the basement. And if I brought kids from New York there, they'd look around and be like, "Oh man, this is incredible! I can't believe this is here in Brooklyn." And I'd bring kids in from Florida, and they would be like, "Oh, okay, cool. What's next?" So that's that's always been a big constraint. Yeah, the space. That's probably the main thing for baseball not being so big in the city.
Right.
I coach in the Hamptons League, and a lot of the kids that make it out of the city for baseball, they usually end up in that league. And I was talking to a bunch of them, and they said that just to make it here for a kid in the city is a big deal. because it's just so hard to get recruited and seen a lot of places from the city, as well as there being so many constraints.
That's a great
with the field and space and availability.
No, you bring up a really good point, because one of the things, you also coach in the Hampton League, and being part of summer ball, that those are pretty prestigious leagues. And one of the things, I'm from the Midwest, and I've always been enamored by the leagues out there in the Northeast, and really just the quality of baseball. But you bring up a good point. It's probably because it's one of the only places that these kids have the opportunity to play true baseball, that are coming from the cities. And so the pool of talent with kids that are absolutely, dying to play at those levels, you have that ability to reach out to those guys and get them. Talk about the kind of moving into coaching at the Hamptons League, the summer ball, and the quality and level of play that you're part of with those leagues.
Yeah, no. So I've coached in quite a few leagues. I've started as a volunteer in the Hamptons League for Sag Harbor, and then the next year I was an paid assistant, and then the two COVID years came and shut everything down. So I went down to the Beach League in Myrtle Beach, and then after that I went and coached in the Perfect Game League up in Newark, and then after that I went back to the Hamptons. So I love summer ball. It's a chance for guys to, sort of go and figure out themselves as a player. It's not my agenda, which would be, small ball, moving guys over. It's them finding themselves in the game. And if they're a fast guy, hey, let's sharpen our tool of speed as much as we can. And if we're a power hitter, hey, let's sharpen that tool. We're gonna get 3-0. We're looking for a fastball. We're green light, go.
That's
swing.
Awesome.
And that's why, I love summer ball. It's you can kind of just sort of relax as a coach, occasionally go like this, and just sort of watch some great baseball players learn themselves. And then the Hamptons League, it's my favorite league that I've ever coached in, because it's a developmental league. And what that means is, if you're on the team, you're gonna play. Right. In other leagues, that are owned by individual owners, their focus is win, 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 and a lot of kids get sort of left behind because you're going to play the best 9, right? And the coach feels that pressure, and they're going to want to try to win those games. So the Hamptons League is my favorite because everybody plays. Of course it's competitive. The guys want to win. It's if they're there, they're red-blooded baseball players. They're trying to do what they can to win games. They're going to compete every time. So we're not going to not try to win, of course. But it's not the focus isn't win or you're in huge trouble. It's learn, and that's why I love it so much. We've had some great baseball players in the Hamptons League. We've had kids that we've sent to the Cape after our season. It's probably happened 5 or 6 kids over the time I've been there have gone to the Cape afterwards, and that's it. If they go there, then we're done with our job then. That's the as high as you can get in college summer baseball. So it's the talent level's very high. Sorry.
No. What I was going to say is I believe that the league that the Hamptons League is like you said, it's a developmental league, and it's partially funded by the Major League Baseball. Correct?
Yes.
And is that, do they kind of dictate that it's a developmental league, or are they just simply providing some funding so that you guys can run the program the way you guys see fit?
I'm not 100%. I'm pretty sure their influence is that it's going to be a developmental league, and this is how we're going to run things. But everything's carried out by our president, Sandy Krul, who does a great job of making sure that's how the league is. Year after year, it's about the kids and the development, opposed to winning a trophy. That you can put in. So it's done the right way, I believe.
I love summer leagues because it gives the players a taste of professional baseball, right? They have. Are there host homes that the Hamptons go ahead and they have? So you have host homes. So these kids are really on their own, baseball driven throughout the entire summer. They have to, the time management comes in, and they really just have to, kind of just basically get completely engulfed in the game of baseball. And I love it from a fan's perspective. I've always loved summer ball. Being from the Midwest, we're big on the prospect leagues out here, but it's very similar, right? Giving them a kind of a taste of what professional baseball is really like.
Yeah, no, it's baseball day in and day out. It's baseball for 2 months straight, and a lot of kids learn hey, this is what I want to do, and a lot of kids learn hey, this might be a little too much for me. I don't know, maybe I should go get my accounting degree. So it's it's a make or break type of thing. But there are leagues like Coach Ratchford is at in the NECBL, where the travel is a lot more like minor league baseball. I think the travel here is you travel 2 hours or an hour and it's easy. I think some of those leagues are really, really like the minor leagues. I think ours is a taste.
Yep. No. The old buses. I think you just said it perfectly, Jake. It was make or break, right? It wasn't really the make or break if they were talented enough. It's make or break mentally. Is this something I actually want to do, or should I go back and actually start focusing more on my education?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, sometimes both. Sometimes guys figure out hey, this game's pretty tough or something like that. I figured that out a long time ago. I mean, some of these guys are figuring it out in the Cape. So kudos to them.
That's good. So you just said that you just signed on with BMCC, which Borough of Manhattan.
Yep.
Wanted you talk a little bit about the kind of what happened over the summer, because I know that you were going to be with one of the state university schools. What happened and where are you at today, and talk about kind of where you are and looking forward to the season.
Yeah, no. I originally was going to be at Ulster, which is a great program, but it just wasn't going to work out with the travel. I was 2.5 hours away, and I thought I could do it, and it just turns out I wasn't going to be able to make that commitment. And I feel horrible because I did sign on, and I did have guys that were coming, and I did have guys that were there that wanted to play. So that's something that really sucks for me, and I feel horrible about it. But I am at BMCC now, which is, it's the Community College of Manhattan. It's where I grew up. It means a lot to me that I'm here. Because one, it's 3 blocks from where I grew up. It's kids like me, city kids, that maybe didn't get a chance playing baseball. And Coach Tommy, he's got them working really hard, playing really good. He's brought in a class of guys that are, just animals. We're going to have a very successful season. It's just going to be it's a great program, and I'm excited for it. But I'm also excited to coach and work places where I used to coach and work, which is in the city. We're going to be at Pier 40 a lot, where is Francisco's there, Felix is there. It's old an old baseball academy with minor leaguers, so I'll be right there in the city. And that's what I'm most excited about. Is just being able to, help kids like me achieve their baseball goal. And if they fall short from that baseball goal, then, they end up with a degree, which is also very important, right? The most important.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that you hear so many times the coaches talking about is baseball being the tool to education. And I think that's what's great about it. You're able to bring people in, work on the development side across the board, but baseball is just that one tool to help them really take them to that next level of what they want to do when they grow up, right? And I think that's awesome. I've always had such high praise for coaches that continue with the development of kids and focusing on that, and so many times they put their own careers on the side to help build out and develop these players, and I think that's fantastic. So what's the most exciting part? Because you're assistant coach, are you part of the recruiting? And you mentioned this is kind of right where you grew up. What is your role and responsibility? What do you think that it's going to be?
I'm catchers and pitchers.
Okay.
Working on the defensive side of the ball, helping with hitters when I can. If I'm asked to throw BP, I'll get up there and wing it. I'm just happy to be part of a team. Happy to be part of a group, and the best part is for JUCO, I've always thought is guys moving on.
Yeah.
Of course we want to win when we're there. Of course we want to get our academics, but JUCO is we're gonna move you on to the next level. And I've people have told me, oh, it's like a stepping stone or something, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like a stepping stone, but it's more like one of those blobs that they have in the movies, where in the movie Heavyweights, where you're in the middle of the blob, and then I'll jump off the roof and I'll hit the other side of the blob, and I'm going to shoot you off into orbit, and I'm going to get you signed by somebody real exciting, right?
That's awesome.
So we're a launching pad, not a stepping stone.
That's great.
That's something.
No,
sorry.
No. That's a great. I like that better than the stepping stone. We are ready to launch you, not just to allow you to step over. And you know what? Your experience at the Hamptons is certainly part of that, right? The JUCO or the community college levels they should be a launching area for these players, right? And one of the things that I love about what I'm doing and interviewing so many coaches is the more and more I hear this, the more I look at this and go, kids should absolutely be taking a look at the community college and the JUCO levels, because it's not a stepping stone. It is a launching pad. It's to not only academic, but also baseball. It's the ability to have these coaches take a look at you and really work on the fundamentals and getting you to a place where you can absolutely take off and launch. And so I think that's awesome to really think about that. So that goes into being from the area. What are some things that two questions? The first question is, what are you looking for, Coach, from a player's perspective? Specifically what type of players, and then also what are some things that they can do to really prep themselves at the high school level to be ready for college baseball, and specifically for your program?
So I'm looking for guys that are okay with failing. I like guys that are gonna work real hard, and sometimes they're gonna fail, and they're gonna be okay with that. It's the old adage in baseball, says you're gonna fail, and if you fail, if you're 3 out of 10, you're a Hall of Famer, right?
Yep.
In baseball.
Yep.
So you're gonna fail a lot, and you have to be able to be okay with failing. I had a kid in the Hamptons who, very talented player, had a tough game, and he slammed his helmet, and there was a scout for one of the New York teams right there, and just crossed him off the list right then and there. So it happens, but failing, I'm looking for guys that are not scared to fail. So guys that are willing to try and make mistakes. Coach Lou, he says, if you fail, go 100%, go 100%. And if I forget exactly what he said, maybe we can cut that. But he's a good coach, Coach Lou. I want guys that can, that are not afraid to make mistakes. Sure.
I think what he was probably saying is, if you're going to fail 100, don't ever.
Did I lose you?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
I think it's, if you're going to fail, still fail at 100%. You want to
Yeah.
you want 100% just at all times, and don't take anything off of that. I think that's really good. Actually, that's a great story. That I want to make sure that I highlight on this is Scout sitting in the crowd, and when you fail, how you respond to that failure is certainly being noticed. And I think that young players need to understand that coaches and scouts and recruiters, they're all looking at the intangibles. Right. If you're at the Hamptons playing, they know you can play. How do you handle yourself is really what it seems that is focused on more, and you need to let the kids need to know that when being part of these games.
Yeah, I'm losing you a lot. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're breaking up.
Shoot. Hold on here. I'm gonna pause record. All right, that's awesome, Coach. Why don't you give a little, just a kind of a plug for BMCC, why kids should take a look at this, and what really what are the values that it brings, and some benefits that kids can find from the university.
Yeah, so the university, it's a community college, and we have great connections with other schools in the city, as well as other schools in the state. The CUNY system and the SUNY system, which is City University of New York and State University of New York, are some of the best degrees that you can get and hold a lot of water. The school itself is located in downtown Manhattan, and we have our practices in the morning, and part of why we do that is so guys can go out and get jobs and really try to figure out what they're going to do with the rest of their lives. While they're playing baseball in the mornings, they're going and they're trying to really try to find their passion and what their careers could be in the afternoons. So that's a big selling point of the school. And it's New York City. You get to play baseball in the daytime and figure it out at night.
I like that. I think that's great to encourage the kids to go out and get a job, and have practice in the morning. I think that's awesome. Campus life, is it a commute school, or are there?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, it's a commute school for the most part. We do offer dorms. I don't know much about the dorms specifically, but we have a lot of guys that are from the city, but we also have some guys that want to be part of it that are not from the city too.
Yeah, that's a great question. Do you, from a recruiting perspective, and I know that you're new there, but you understand the area. Where is the focus from your perspective? Is it localized? I mean, there are certainly a lot of talent right there in that area. Do you open it up? I mean, if kids were watching this video and saying, "Man, it'd be really cool to come into the city and be part of something special," is that something that is offered? Is do they have the availability to take a look at the school as well?
Yeah, well, I just got here and I haven't done any recruiting for the school. It's all been Coach Tommy and his staff. They've done a good job bringing guys from the city as well as guys from out of the city. But we absolutely offer out of state guys spots. Maybe even some international kids some spots. Awesome. New York sells itself, I think, and the opportunities in this city are unmatched. And we're not too far from the city. We're not a bus ride away from the city. We're right there. We can walk to Wall Street. We can walk to the financial district. We can walk to Times Square. It's the biggest hub for business in the world, and we're right there. And a lot of kids from all over the planet, I think, could benefit from playing baseball here and then working a job in the city.
I think that's
getting by in the city.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And being a community college, probably the network with the 4-year programs. Obviously, you mentioned that earlier. Is there certain schools that kind of you guys have you work with closer, or what? I guess what I'm getting at is what are some of the specific majors or the focus academic perspectives that the school offers?
It's a junior college, so it's a lot of getting your prerequisites.
Yep.
But it's a business heavy school. So business would definitely be the number one.
Okay, that's awesome. Coach, let's talk about your Twitter page. That's the thing that everybody I think wants to hear about. One of the biggest uncommitted Twitter handles out there is BU Uncommitted, and Jacob Tobin runs that. I think it's awesome, just giving people exposure and really helping out the community. What was the purpose of it, and why did you get it started? And what do you have in store? Kind of what are your plans for it?
So when I was at UConn Avery Point, the head coach, Ian Ratchford, he had a lot of connections. His dad is a Hall of Fame coach, and he just also happens to be, the hardest working recruiter in the Northeast. So he knows everybody. And I was jealous of that. I didn't have I didn't know a lot of people like that. So I needed to develop relationships, to get my guys out of a junior college and move them on. And so I created the page, Be Uncommitted. I started looking for guys that were uncommitted, and I just retweeted them, and it grew from there. I think I've helped, quite a few kids out, and it's something I'm really proud of. Just because it's a free platform for kids to get exposure. Yep. I'm followed by, I think, 800 college coaches and pro scouts. So if you get retweeted by us, you'll get seen by those coaches. Like we were talking about earlier. There's schools that don't have these crazy recruiting budgets, and this is all free both ways. So it's something that has grown a bit, and I believe the next steps are we're going to host free showcases. Me and my friend Nate Lawrence are going to go down to Florida, do about 3-4 showcases in Florida, drive all the way up the coast, end up back in New York, and try to hit up quite a few places and get free exposure out there for as many people as we can.
That's awesome. Not many people can claim a hashtag on Twitter, and Jake, you have one. Be Uncommitted is one that I think everybody in baseball knows and understands, and you were the one that kind of got it started. So congratulations on that. I think that's awesome. It works real well with what we do, constantly promoting new players, programs, doing everything we can to help these players out. And I appreciate what you're doing there. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is something that you started with the analytics. And I loved what you said before. You said, I wasn't big into it, didn't really know much about it, but I knew it was something that could be a value in the baseball community. Talk about your analytics component, what you did with the University of Syracuse.
Okay. Yeah. No. So, the Hamptons League was fully behind when I came up with this crazy idea and tried to figure it out. And it was to create an analytics team of interns. And what I did was I contacted probably 15 different internship coordinators from different schools, and told them my vision. And the only person that got back to me was Francesco Rivoso at Syracuse. And he helped me out quite a bit. He helped me sort of formulate the idea of what I wanted to do, and pitch it to his students. And what we ended up doing was we had 2 teams of interns. One of them was on site, and the on-site guys we called data collection specialists. So the on-site guys were data collection specialists, and they'd sit behind home plate, and they'd get velocity. They'd chart what pitch it was, the location, what happened, right? Whether it was a foul ball put into play, hard hit, whatnot. And they take that information and they send it to a second group of interns that were working remotely. And they were called they were called the data analysts. Yep. And what they did is they took this information and created these reports. And they'd send the reports to the head coaches on different teams, as well as some of the players. And it turned out to be something that worked really well, that multiplied the learning, going on in the Hamptons League. We added it multiplied the learning in the ways that the players got to learn about analytics. The analytics guys got to learn about talking to the players.
Yeah.
They learned about creating these reports in a crunch time. It worked out really well. And I put some of the reports on LinkedIn, I believe. And I think it's going to be a great platform for young analytics students to get, experience in this field, awesome. As well as, young baseball players to learn about, taking analytical information and bettering themselves. So
that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, and I didn't do anything. All I did was create the team. I couldn't create any of these reports or anything like that. It's Russian to me pretty much, but it's something that helps out a lot of the kids, and it's something I'm proud of as well.
So is Syracuse, is that one of the things that they're now offering in one of the programs? Do they do this now with other teams and other organizations?
Their analytics program at the Falk School is the top analytics program in the country. Yep. And they have a lot of internships with, I'd say, a lot of Major League Baseball teams. Pretty much every major sports organization has some type of analytics department, and a lot of them are looking for interns that are at Syracuse. So they offer all of it.
That's awesome.
They do a great job, and they've been very instrumental, to helping me out in, my career as well as helping my players get better. So it's been a win-win for sure.
That's great. Well, Jake, I appreciate the opportunity to interview you today. You're a pistol, man. You've got so many things going on, trying to help so many different people, great ideas, and you don't stop. I think that's really the key to your success is even if you don't know how to do something, you figure it out and you find the people, surround yourself with the right people. And I think that's pretty awesome. Excited to watch your career as well. Watch the new program that you've got, and what's the season look like for BMCC?
Well, we open up, I believe. Let me see. I gotta get the exact schedule. I'm starting in 5 days, and I'm going to start working with the pitcher. So I haven't even started working with the guys yet. But we're going to open up, in about 4 or 5 weeks, and got a big season ahead of us.
That's awesome. Well, looking forward to watching the season and cheering you guys on. I appreciate you joining the Baseball Blue Book podcast. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.